Hi, my name is Buffy from Recovering Perfectionist Mama podcast, Grace in Progress. So if you've not watched a podcast episode before, I'm Buffy. I'm a women's lifestyle creator on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. The same username that I'm using here, Recovering Perfectionist Mama with underscores. And so a lot of things are going on with everybody right now, it seems. It seems like there's a lot of just stress and overwhelm and just overwork. And a lot of that is kind of bleeding into our lives on a daily basis, whether it's the news, whether it's other podcasts, whether it's just breaking news and riots and other crazy things that have gone on recently. So ultimately, the only thing that we can really control is our inner family, and we can't really control that, but we can try to make things as peaceful and as blissful and as happy as possible and continue to nurture that connection, because ultimately home life is very, very important, especially when you have kids and such. And so today we're going to go into the realistic date nights, staying connected when life is chaotic. And how often is life chaotic? I mean, obviously I just mentioned, some incidences where, things seems like the world's gone crazy in some ways, you know what I mean? So does date night feel impossible between work, kids, and endless to-do lists? You're not alone. Today, we're breaking the myth that connection requires fancy dinners or hours away. I'll share creative, doable ways to keep your relationship strong right in the middle of real life. And real life it is, right? Especially, like, I know that a lot of women feel overwhelmed and overworked for the mental load and the mental load can be heavy, keeping track of appointments, keeping track of to-do lists, keeping track of everything. Sometimes you feel like, and it feels like you're constantly trying to run to keep up and run. The kids have activities, all that. So why connection matters? Let's talk about that. Did you know that regular couple time strengthens intimacy and lowers stress for both partners? That's huge. I mean, of course it does, because you guys are a connection, a unit. You guys are connected, you're a unit. You guys are supposed to be sounding boards for each other, supposed to be each other's support, each other's comfort, and actually be able to know what each other is doing. You're in the trenches together. So it makes sense that you would want to rely on each other and you would want to help each other. So let me tell you about a time that my partner and I had felt distant. We have been married approximately 6 years before we had our first child. And that was definitely a time that was difficult, just because you don't know what you don't know. And so we were new parents. We were excited. We loved the whole thing. But we also had a scenario where our oldest son had actually stopped breathing when he was born. So he had to be airlifted. Very terrifying, scary time. There was some distance there. There were some things that had happened that we probably should have not had happen. But it just made it really difficult, and it was a time where we had to rebuild our relationship. And so time went on and we had more children, and we decided one day that we weren't really having the adult conversations that we should have been having, that we were more focused on the kids and work and responsibilities that we had, rather than trying to connect with each other. He was busy, I was busy. I mean, it was all just that sort of thing. So we then decided on a whim to start doing date nights on Fridays, meaning we would get a babysitter and we would have someone that we trusted watch our kids. And it was a great thing for our marriage, and it's still a great thing for our marriage, to have that day on the calendar that will be just for us to talk, to discuss, not have to worry about little ears, not have to be interrupted on things, just to have time where we are building our connection and moving forward with what we want to talk about, without having someone ask, oh, who's that? Like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Are they sick? Like, is that so-and-so's parent? Is that, no, don't want any of that, right? It's just a conversation of what we want to have, as well as connecting and being able to maybe, discuss things that we need to discuss to build intimacy, to talk about our dreams, to talk about, wild ideas we might have, things we want to do. My podcast was probably discussed during one of these date nights. So just so you know, connection is so important, right? Also, even if you don't have a lot of time, 20 minutes might not seem like a lot of time, or it might seem like a lot depending on what you have on your plate. But 20 intentional minutes does count. 10 additional minutes counts, right? Whatever you can put forth, like building that connection is awesome. Also, I know I did mention date night. A lot of people are talking about rethinking date night. If that's something that you think that you need to do, you know your family, you know what you have to do, especially if you have a newborn or you have toddlers or you have, a bunch of other obligations you have to take care of. Maybe you have an elderly parent you have to take care of. I mean, those are circumstances that you know what works for you. But making time is always worthwhile, always, for that connection. So you don't have to necessarily spend 3 hours at a restaurant to have a date night that's worthwhile. We can also talk about shifting our focus from event to connection, meaning it's not really about where you eat. It's not what you eat. It's not what kind of cuisine you got or how expensive the restaurant was, or was it like the it place in town, or did people see you there, or how you dress. I tend to like to dress up for date night because I'm a girly girl, but that's me. A lot of people are just fine in jeans and t-shirt, right? Do what makes you comfortable. Also, it's about quality, not location, not budget, not who's the it person there. It's the new it restaurant, right? So creative at-home dates. Let's talk about details and setup tips and conversation tips, right? For all of these. Living room picnic, right? A blanket, candles, no phones, and your favorite takeout. Probably after the kids go to bed. I actually have a friend who, her and her husband do that just because they have young girls and they have a girl who has a lot of medical issues. And so it's hard for them to get away. And they feel really guilty about leaving the children with the grandparents just due to the medical issues. So they often do that as well. Also, like, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about, right? Like, what's your favorite food? Who was your best friend when you were 5? Just think about all the things that there's really never like a right time to talk about, but there's always a time, right? Like, it's something that you would get to know each other better and connect more. And that's always a win-win, right? Or a cocktail or a mocktail night. Create and name drinks after shared memories. How cute is that? I know I have some ideas for some of the things maybe that we would name our mocktail or cocktails, right? Like maybe first location of where you met, or first date, Denny's. We would have to name a drink Denny's for sure. Also, DIY spa nights, foot soaks, simple face masks, relaxing playlist. He and I have a different taste in music, so that might be kind of interesting to go and do that for sure. But it's just all about creating new experiences, and new experiences expand your bond. And that is ultimately what you're going for. Not the perfect time, just building time together with connection and enjoying it together. Memory lane movie night. This is also fun. Watch the first movie you saw together. Mine would be Bruce Almighty. And you share your favorite stories that you have with each other, right? How great would that be? And Bruce Almighty was really comfortable for a first date. Or second date, excuse me. So quick getaways without a sitter. You could do a neighborhood night walk. Especially, just monitor your app and headlamps if you need. Also, drive and talk. Coffee and a scenic drive while a trusted sitter or older teen covers the kids, right? I mean, there's probably a lot of kids in your neighborhood would, watch your children for like an hour, especially if you trust them, you trust their parents, and, do your due diligence for sure. And just like with the neighborhood night walk, I would probably go ahead and get a sitter for that, even if it's just like an hour, like a teenage kid. So that way you have your time away, the kids are safe, and you're not focused on the monitor and stressing out about the kids and feeling like you're an unfit parent and all that other stuff. I don't know. I always just want my kids to be safe, and I know you all do too as well. Also, micro connection habits. These are fire, guys. Absolute fire. So you can do a daily 10-minute check-in chat after the kids are in bed. Talk about anything you want, whether it's like, a spat you've had, or something you've been thinking about, or a big dream that you have, or something you've always wanted to do, or maybe vacation plans. I mean, those are always fun to talk about. Or, hey, have you thought about maybe we need to trade in the vehicle? Or, I thought about maybe taking a side job, or maybe we should, plan a trip to see so-and-so. All the things that you want to do but never seem to have time to talk about. And those check-in chats are awesome. Or, hey, how you feeling? I know you were kind of sad about such and such, and I just wanted to see if there's anything I can do. Those are very important. Another one, the 2-minute morning hug, which is proven to reduce stress hormones, which everybody's stressed these days, and that is a definite booster for your mood and his mood. And keep it going, right? Builds intimacy, builds connection, especially if your partner's love language is touch. Some people like words of affirmation. Some people like words of service. Some people like gifts. Gifts are nice, right? But I prefer more words of affirmation and touch. That's just me. Also, weekly love letter text, just a few sentences of appreciation. You know, appreciation can definitely turn things around. It can make someone feel more confident. It can make someone feel more connected to you. It could then encourage the reciprocal. They start doing the same thing. And maybe you didn't realize how much a kind word that you give them makes them, how appreciative they are of the kind word that you give them, or the back rub that you give them, or the back scratch that you give them, or the fact that you're always there for them. And the things that some people may look at as little things are actually big things. And guilt. You benefit from your kids benefit from you being close and happy, right? Feeling close and happy with your partner, and with your partner feeling close and happy. Ultimately, the family unit depends on the relationship between the two of you. And your children could suffer dire consequences if that relationship were to break apart for whatever reason. Not guilting anybody, not saying anything like that, but just saying that you essentially are building a foundation for them to keep their family intact and happy. And if that works for you and you are in a good, healthy relationship, great. Sometimes we have to fight for that, right? Sometimes there's things that try to get in the way, work or stress or fear or any number of things, trauma potentially. So date night doesn't need reservations. Discover creative, realistic ways to reconnect with your partner right in the middle of life's chaos. Choose one idea from this episode and put it on your calendar within the next 7 days. Share your mini date photo or story and tag me so we can inspire couples to stay connected. Remember, at Recovering Perfectionist Mama on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. So guys, try one of these out and let me know which ones you like, which one worked, which one didn't, which one you chose. That would be interesting. And I hope you have a great date or reconnection date. All right. Hope to talk to you soon and see you in the next episode.